Good morning, everyone. It's me. Today is June 9th, 2026 at 5:15 a.m. I went to bed quite early and I'm up editing one of my videos that I recorded yesterday. It's going to take me some time and it might be quite long, so I wanted to just kind of take out or isolate this one part of the video that because I just sat down and kind of went with the flow, and well, what I made connections to is quite important here now, and I think that it's valid to talk about. So if you have been watching especially the Alien Emissaries series, okay, or following anything that has to do with Tuatha De Danaan, because we're going to get to mentioning the Sidhe. And this was kind of like, oh my goodness, I didn't expect it to find this on LeyLines. Because just to kind of fill you in a little bit, when I was doing this little investigation yesterday, I was wondering if the place that I was speaking of was on certain ley lines, and these are points of energy. There's almost like an earth energy grid. Like, it has been proposed that these UFO may be traveling through wormhole. Okay? Now, what is a wormhole but a pathway or a road? Okay? I kind of wanted to call this the UFO highway video, but it does have to do with elementals and these interdimensionals and the spaces of the in-between, and it's pretty interesting. So let's just get into this, okay? Now, the funny thing is before I started the video, I thought, oh no, it's literally categorized as witchcraft. Now, if you do understand that witchcraft has also, number one, a bad name. Remember the Salem witch trials? I need you to think of these things as I explain this to you. Now, we're not talking about what most people think witchcraft is, especially not the negative kind, like the crazy-ass celebrities that are sacrificing chickens in their closets. I don't know if you've ever seen that wild-ass video, but yeah, this shit. I'm not talking about that. This is about nature magic, like the law of nature. People that work with the natural energies of the earth. This doesn't mean you're a terrible, awful, evil witch that's going to harm people. Okay, this is not what we're talking about. But a lot of people that are into the ancient ways, let's say, because this connects with the beings that lived here before us. And if you remember, when I talked about my experience with the Asura, one of the things it said is that we were here long before humans were ever a thought. And that is an indication that they are talking about our place in creation. They are indicating they were here before us. If you know anything from my teachings here, I don't mean to be disrespectful, but I was going to say, if you know anything about the Muslim religion, because they have an interpretation about these things. They say that the angels were created first. Those are the higher dimensionals, okay? Then it was the jinn. Jinn are beings of the unseen realm, which would include what we refer to as aliens, but they also have like leprechauns, elves, fairies, any of that stuff from the unseen supernatural realm is a jinn. And they also say that some of these beings have accepted the Most High Divine Creator, like they literally have chosen God, love, and goodness, and some of these beings have not. Yeah. And a lot of what they say about them, trickster type of energies, doing this and that, matches what we talk about with aliens, but also with the Fae and other elementals and beings of ancient myth and legend. And the reason why I mentioned witchcraft and about how a lot of people get this idea, we don't want to have this Salem witch trial type of thing in any way ever again, right? We don't want to make this mistake about naming something as evil that it's not. And I truly believe that in a big way that this all connects with that. That it may be, and even though it's not the best way to introduce themselves as aliens, but they don't want us to associate what we used to with them. And it may not be sinister, but it's something to consider either way. Like, why would they hide it? There are some beings that don't. Remember I said, that message that says, we oppose deception. There is good out there, believe. That crop circle message that I talk about all the time. There are beings that do oppose deception, and they are very willing to tell the truth. And they do want to connect and heal this rift that has happened. You got to remember, like, when the time, and this is just an example, think about the time when Christianity went around slaughtering all the pagans. The interdimensional realms, or the dimensional realms, and these unseen beings probably had no clue why, that their friends were being slaughtered. You know, it was probably a really horrible time for all. And there's many examples that there's just been this wedge in between us, and we are truly all the children of creation. So I'm just not really sure exactly, and I don't want to jump to sinister conclusions because that's not helpful. I mean, like I said, both ways to think about it is good, but not to choose either, because we just don't know. Like I said, we need these beings now to speak for themselves. I mean, like I'm going to show you here, Tuatha De Danaan says that these Sidhe are aliens from inner Earth, and they're not. They're ancient beings, and they're ancient peoples, and they're still people. And the thing is, I wouldn't want people to believe things that other people say about me. Come and get to know me from the source, right? Wouldn't you want that for yourself? So there's a lot of this here. So they may have come up with this, well, let's just tell them we're aliens, so that we don't get associated with, how people think about fairies and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. But you have to think about it at the same time. I know this might be a little confusing. Like, we're going to look at it at both sides, okay? A lot of the things, like snatching people up and all this stuff, we're going to get into this. I'm sorry I've made you wait so long, but it talks about snatching people up in the in-between times. Now this, I just thought that was so pretty, by the way. I love the look of those trees. They look like fluffy clouds, eh? I'd love to see that up close and walk through that. That is so pretty. Okay, so ley lines are straight tracks or lines or energy grids that encircle the globe in every direction. The ancients marked these lines with stone monuments like, oh my god, I just forgot what it's called, Stonehenge. And stone monuments and pagan temples are ancient ancestors. Remember, we're talking ancient aliens here. But they're ancient, but they're not alien. They're only alien because we forgot what they were. And that's probably a little bit painful. You got to remember too that these people are the middle children of creation. That's not always a great place to be. If you are a middle child, let me know what it's like in the comments. I bet you it's rough. I remember Jenny was a middle child and it wasn't easy for her at all. So you have to kind of compare it this way, that they are the middle children of creation. And that, it probably wasn't very nice to be replaced by us. Even if you look at the story that they tell of the shaitan or Satan, like the adversary, like we talk about in the Bible, how Satan didn't want to bow to mankind. It's almost exactly the same. But in the story with the Muslim version, right? So what it says is that this Satan was actually a jinn, and he was a great being of fire. What does this sound like? Maybe he was a Draco elemental, maybe a reptilian type. Rose through the spiritual hierarchies. Like I told you, just because somebody looks a certain way doesn't mean they are. This is a terrible association we've made. And it's a really terrible shame, because not all humans are the same, so it applies to everything else in creation, including these beings we call a reptilian type, or what they are is the salamander element of fire. Okay, so they can rise up through this spiritual hierarchies just like anybody else. And this is what it says. But he worked all that time and got that way And when he realized, oh my goodness, now we're going to have to give way to these beings who do not have the same powers. These beings have a lot of powers that we don't have. They can shoot fireballs, fly, telepathy, all this kind of stuff. Healing with their hands. Like we hear about these quote unquote aliens, but they're not, you guys. They are indeed ancient. And they said these things. They're speaking to us in kind of riddles, play on words. They say they are just like us. They lived here at one time just like us. You have to listen, really, and you will hear it. But I'm not exactly sure why. And I mean, it's probably because they're not so great, of course, because it's with the government's plan. Of course, let's tell them we're aliens. I don't know. It just doesn't. It doesn't seem like the best plan, does it? And the most honest, and the way to fix a relationship. Right? It doesn't seem so. It isn't the greatest way to restart something by having more deception, is it? There may be a reason for it. But, it even says, that they were very upset about having to be replaced and that we got here. And I mean, but what I don't understand is just like when your parents have a new child, that can be difficult for someone, but that doesn't mean your parents love you less or you're less important. The Divine Creator loves all its children equally. So I don't exactly understand, for lack of a better term, and with respect, what their actual problem is. I mean, have we disrespected nature and harmed nature and shit all over them? Absolutely. So that could be a great big part of it. Have we forgotten them? That's probably pretty painful. Especially if one time we lived in harmony with them, and I believe that we did. But here, I'm sorry I digressed. It's just really important that I share these compassionate, empathetic insights so that you can understand the reasonings that could be behind this. So they set up, okay, hang on. Right, our ancient ancestors could feel the magic and power emanating from these energy lines. And it may be just places where the aether is stronger, where our Earth's natural energies is just stronger, right? The lines, like roadways. These are the interdimensional pathways, the highways. This is why UFOs are seen along them so often. Because I believe these are like traveling through wormholes or sites like this, and maybe they can take them to other realms and other places and stuff like that. Okay? So they might be able, like Elena Danaan said, she said there are beings on Jupiter in another dimension. So if they switch dimensions and take like a wormhole from here to say Jupiter or Mars, and they end up there at this location but in a different dimension, then maybe there's people there. But to our eyes, and in the third dimension with our light spectrum vision that we have, because we only see, I think, 3, because we're in the third dimension, there may be only like a certain amount of the light spectrum we can see. I'm sorry, I don't have a chart up right now, but I know that we cannot perceive the entire thing. It's a small portion, okay? So this is what we're dealing with. And I believe that in these energy sites, like my town itself is a UFO hotspot, and this is the reason why, okay? This is the LeyLines that I was mentioning. I'm just a little nervous about talking about my town, but yeah, that's how we got here. So I was talking about the fact that this place is on some pretty interesting LeyLines, and there's even smaller ones. But because we look about it way more in the video. I've already been almost 15 minutes. Okay, they set up natural sanctuaries and called these intersections of LeyLines their sacred sites. But it's like when they cross over. But are these LeyLines still in existence? Yes. And how do these ancient LeyLines affect us in modern times? Okay, how do we find the sacred sites and blah blah blah? Okay, so a lot of people that are aware, it's places like Egypt, Stonehenge, Machu Picchu, sacred sites like this, okay? But, look, as I'm reading this, look what it goes. Corpse roads, that's spirit roads, fairy paths. And I thought, oh my goodness. Elena Danaan talks about the Sidhe, which are fairies, and she tries to make it off like they're aliens, and it's not. And she's a shaman. She's a druid shaman. They work with earth magic and energies. It's this. It's not aliens at all. So I have absolutely no idea why she's saying it is. There may be some people that really do believe it's aliens, that they don't know this kind of stuff. There's a lot of people that are being manipulated and taken advantage of because there are some people that use their knowledge to gain power over others. And like with me, I'm using it to empower others. I don't want to keep it for myself. I'm giving it to you. Okay, so it says here, a corpse road was a path taken by a funerary procession to move the dead to its burial place, a churchyard. So that's normally what this was. But spirits travel the earth in straight lines, ley lines. Okay? So it says terrifying stories are told of otherworldly creatures on corpse roads, a headless black dog. But maybe because these beings can like shapeshift to scare you and harvest more of your energy. So what is a black dog but Dogman? The big black dog on Skinwalker Ranch? Not all of them are going to act the same though. Right? And we have so many different types of beings. So many. Or the black dog ghostly lights, known as corpse lights, or maybe orbs. Which, like I read in the Secret Teachings of All Ages, sometimes you'll see these red or white orbs over fields and stuff, but these are elementals. These are not aliens. I really did study this for 15 years. And this is the conclusion I've come to. We used to have contact with these beings. It used to be different. And I think that maybe some of it's true, and some of it may be a little bit, for lack of a better word, fairy-tailed up. Because, I don't know, they may not be able to explain it, or there might be a agenda behind it, but listen, this is what really hit me. So, this part, no. Okay, it says, imagine a fairy chain stretched from mountain peak to mountain peak as far as the eye could reach, right? But an invisible road. And they can travel on. Remember I explained about these elementals. So the sylphs are air. And they live in the tops of mountains, the highest peaks. There's UFO that go into places in mountains and they disappear. They're not inside the mountain. They go in the mountain, switch dimensions, and then they're in their world. Looks totally different. We could go in and see just rock. But to them, it's a totally different inner space. They come from the spaces in between spaces. That would be like inside mountains, inside volcanoes, and underwater. Water beings come from underwater. That's why there's a lot of beings in the forests, because those are earth beings. Emery Smith talked about a being that looked like it had tree branches coming out of its head. Hello, that's a nature spirit. That's not an alien. So whether they're doing this on purpose, or they just don't know, and I mean ignorant in the term of where they just are unaware, they do not have the knowledge, and they truly believe it's aliens. And it's not. It is these ancient beings. So that's so they could go from one mountain to another mountain on one of these ley lines, on a ferry road, or on the UFO highway. Okay? So in my other deep dive of this, okay, I show you where you can check ley lines and check where your town is and blah, 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 blah. But it says, look, fairies are known as the wee folk and Sidhe. They are known to travel along specified paths as well. Probably each of the elemental races of earth, air, fire, and water have their own roads. They've probably set things up to avoid fighting each other. Because what it says in the Secret Teachings is that they have a very difficult time agreeing on what to do, and they are always at war with each other. They are always getting into war with each other. They're always fighting because the elements just can't get along. They don't mix. You'll see a movie called Elementals. This is a pretty cool visual example, and they even have fire and water uniting. in that movie. It's called Elementals. It's a animated film. I forget if it's by Pixar or what. I can't remember. But it says, a specified path. There are many tales in the British Isles and Ireland, and that's where Elena is from, I'm pretty sure, that point out fairy pathways leading into hills, like the Silbury Hills video with Mary Rodwell, and traveling over fairy bridges. Well, what's a fairy bridge? It is a pathway between one world and another. This would be what I would express how to travel between one dimension and the next. You're taking a bridge, and that would be like a portal. Okay, but it's a gateway between one world and another, right? These paths also happen to follow ley lines. Folks are warned never to travel a fairy path during twilight hours, dusk or dawn. Why is that? Because it's the in-between night and day and night, y'all. The in-between, interdimensional beings. They are not aliens. Or at night, because remember, in the nighttime hours between midnight and 3, like the witching hour, that's another time for beings. There's some beings that are of night, and there's some beings of day. There's beings of summer, there's beings of winter, and all of the different elements. Okay? Or at night, for fear the fairies might carry them away. What does that sound like? Alien abduction. So we have the dead wraiths, which I think they also drain off the life force. I just seen like a Dementor in Harry Potter. So it could be something like that. We do have some videos that have been seen recently of these black kind of smoke-like beings flying through the air that I saw recently. That might be what we're seeing. I mean, clearly the veil is thinning more and more. And fairies, so wraiths and fairies all traveling along these ancient energetic grid lines. But why? Well, because, I mean, now that they're in the unseen realm, they travel these unseen energetic pathways. So I'm not going to go over the whole thing, but listen, it says, ley lines affect our daily lives. In your home, a ley line, it may make the energy more intense or chaotic. You may not be able to sleep or relax. Your home may experience paranormal activity, including ghostly apparitions, disembodied voices, and visits from the fairies and elementals. If your business is on a ley line, you may find an increase in energy. That energy may be increased amounts of positive or negative. This is what I was talking about my town for. And so, anyway, when the ley lines cross or intersect, if a building or home is located on that intersection, energy is constantly flowing, and it may be chaotic. And it may be manipulated that way on purpose for the prosperity of certain types of beings who thrive and prosper off of the life force energy, like parasites. They may benefit off of this, so they will manipulate the energy to be negative to also harvest the life force of humans, okay? Because there's negative and positive stuff happening with all of this. So your business may be haunted or experience supernatural activity according to your employees. This is why we see these videos like on TikTok where people are at work and all this crazy stuff. Now, some of it's fake, but some of it's not. And this is what we're talking about. You should check the ley lines. But sometimes things are built there on purpose, right? So when ley lines cross or intersect, if a building or home is located there, the energy is flowing. It's maybe chaotic. I always thought this about my old apartment building, which is why I saw that craft flying above it. There's either a portal there or some type of energetic pathway. And I used to report how the power would go off almost consistently at certain hours of the morning, and everyone was always calling the power company and complaining, and they never knew what it was. And literally, like, the power, not just in my building, but of the block, would go out constantly, and they had no explanation. And I believe that sometimes when there's a greater energy surge that comes through that portal that was located around in that area, they also have this really special hill that's just behind my building, which they call the grotto. And it has this huge round thing that's covered in rose quartz. Yeah, there's this big thing. So I mean, it may most definitely be built there on purpose. It's actually a religious site using Jesus, but I believe that might be a front. You see, that it was a special place. I was drawn to that place naturally, that place behind my apartment building. So I believe that is connected to it. Okay. Now we're just gonna. Oh wait. What does that say? At ancient sites or ley lines, you'll experience spiritual enlightenment, visions, or feelings of peace. I did attain some spiritual enlightenment, but it was very chaotic. I guess it could be either positive and negative. You know, you might, and negative doesn't necessarily mean, you know, that it's super, super bad or evil, you know, like it's, you know, but I experienced so much living in that building, and I really, really transformed and changed as a person. You know, there was a lot of good there, but there was a lot of paranormal activity and a lot of bad there too. Even my animals have been attacked by these entities. Yeah. Thank God they were okay, but I know that it's happened and my dog was just terrified of them. Yeah. So my animals would get up all of a sudden. There was no noise, no nothing. They would just leave the room all together like they saw something and left. And then I would get a feeling. Yeah. There was just a lot of activity. I got a lot of stories about that building. And other people do too. So yeah. So if you don't really have a mental visual, this is what it looks like. And there's so many, like the area in which I am is over here in Ontario. Look at all the, look, there's one right here that intersects majorly. It's called galactic facets, by the way, when you go over this. So, but yeah, there's a major intersection. I know it's very small. I encourage you to go look at it yourself, but there's so many of them. So it's more complicated like this. There's a couple other pictures that I saw which shows you all these different roadways. It looks like a giant highway of like an energy grid line. And we have talked about this within the UFO community, for lack of a better term, that they do this. I just distracted myself. So, you know, it's like how people always talk about Mount Shasta. This is one of these places. Sacred sites located on ley lines, but it doesn't always have to be like that. So there's smaller ley lines. They're all over the world. I'm just checking. Okay. They're all over the place. And there'll be different charts of it. But basically, that's what we're talking about. All these different roadways. And I mean, this is just one area of the world. I was trying to see if I could get, you know, my area, which is lucky because, you know, she's probably from the United States, and here's the whole United States. You know what I mean? This website here. But yeah, so I mean, there's a bunch of intercrossing lines all over here. That's why there's a lot of activity at these Great Lakes. These are the Great Lakes of Ontario, and they go into the United States a little bit too here. So, yeah. You know, that's why. Lake Michigan and all this kind of stuff, this is why. Look at Big Cross right there. And it probably takes you everywhere. They go all over the place. This is the UFO highway, y'all. I'm just unsure. Did they want us to put in the work and figure this out? Because, I mean, my goodness, it's been since the 1950s now. And they're still talking aliens. But there's more proof that it's this. Because, of course, the ancient beings, they lived here too. They left stuff they made. They were once physical. Now they're in the spiritual realms. Their time has come and gone, just like ours will. They're dead. Kind of. I mean, an elemental, the thing is the reincarnation doesn't do for them like it does for us. It doesn't work the same. Once they're dead, they're really dead. They never come back. Once you take out one of them, they're gone forever. It's not necessarily, people will say, oh, they don't have souls. Well, it's not like that. But it's an energetic essence. That's why some of them look like plants and flowers. Because they were the energy of that flower, probably at one time. And now they've evolved into a being of the unseen realm. Their consciousness has evolved from a flower to something else. Like we talked about in samsara, cycles and whatever that was, circles and cycles. Yeah. And if you saw that this does have a lot to do with like crop circles are left by them because a lot of the beings of the earth will leave messages in fields and stuff like that. Yeah, they do that. I explained about that picture, the crop circle, where, hang on, do you remember this? Well, that is a being of earth element. That would be technically under the elementals, these would be gnomes. Like the beings of the mountains were sylphs and they are of the air. These are the gnomes and they are of the earth. And they actually did send us their, not only this message, but it was a whole thing where they sent like their DNA and where's the whole picture of it? Oh, well, I thought this was going to be better. But it had more. So we sent out a message with our like DNA, what we looked like, and our coordinates, and they send something back. They're these little grays, but the grays are the gnomes. This is why you'll hear in stories like with Phil Schneider that he was digging in underground, and they're always found in underground tunnels. That's because the gnomes are found underground. But this message here that they left, I mean, that's pretty freaking good. And that was done by machine. Like they used their UFO craft and they make these. The reason why this believe was capitalized is because it was thought and felt that it was the most important. Most important words are capitalized in all capital letters. So it says, beware the bearers of false gifts, like Elena's book, A Gift from the Stars. I think it's a false gift. And their broken promises. Much pain, yes, it's true, but still time. Believe there is good out there. We oppose deception. Closing conduit. The conduit is the craft. The message is telepathic. Machines do not write down. Your computer doesn't go, I'm shutting down now. When you shut it down, it just executes the action. But your brain, to turn off a telepathic message, you would have to close the conduit. The bell sound may be a frequency. Yeah. Remember, energy, frequency, vibration is what we're dealing with. So I truly believe, this is what we're talking about. He doesn't look like a nasty gray, though, does he? He kind of looks like Paul. To be honest, Paul the alien. Do you remember Paul the alien? Hold on, I'll show you him. Paul was freaking funny. Hang on. See? He looks like Paul. Look, we'll go back here. Show this tab instead. You can't tell me he doesn't. He just looks like Paul. And they may have done that on purpose. Look at that. Paul. See, the eyes are the same? And everything. Yeah. Head's turned to the side a little bit in this one. Check that out. So, I don't know, but there's some good ones and there's some not good ones. And I believe that these ones were really trying to help and leave this message for us. And they have been, but there is a lot of fakery as well. Because the government really wants to cover this part of it up. I truly believe that. I don't know why, but I truly believe that. So they may even pay people to fake stuff and mess around with us. But some people are just that awful that they'll do it for fun to have a good laugh at others. There's that too. So, yeah, the UFO highway. It's not exactly aliens as we thought, and it doesn't. I truly feel like it doesn't make it any less cool. Of course, these ancient civilizations knew about math and stuff like that too. They were probably way better at us. They did build the pyramids and shit, right? Most likely, and things like that. So they had to have known math. I mean, we aren't the only smart people that's ever existed to figure things out a little bit. I don't even think we figured half of it out. We just think we're really great. And that might be what pisses our other siblings in creation off a little bit. You know? So I don't know. I just hope that people will consider the things that I've said today. Do further research for yourself, you know? And I don't know. I don't know. I mean, this is the thing that makes most sense to me. I would hope someone else could prove me wrong. I mean, it very well could be both. But I don't know, the way that it's being presented, especially, and I mean, I know Elena Danan's not the only one, but well, these stories of Palladians and this and that has rippled out and been around for quite some time. So it's not like she's the first one. But like I said, she is a druid, a shaman. She would definitely know about this stuff, or she's the shittiest shaman and druid I've ever seen. You know? So, and I don't think she is. I think she thinks she's clever. And that's why they're called the cunning ones, or there's different names because sometimes they can be tricky. Yeah. So there. I really hope this saves, because this was a pretty good overview of this part of it, and I really do believe that this part is very important to adding to my research part of this for people to view. Let me just pause once more. I'm going to take you over to show you the video I did on the Sidhe, and when I did that, because this is all connected. Alrighty, so I did this video actually 10 months ago. I didn't realize it was that long ago. But yeah, 10 months ago. Let's see exactly when I did. July 9th, 2025. Okay? And as you can see, this is this guy that Elena made a video, an AI video of, where he's like talking or whatever. She's like, oh, look at this handsome fella. You know what I mean? I disagree. I don't think he's good looking, but no respect. He's just disrespect. He's just not my type. But I said inner earth peoples are not aliens or ET. They are Fae, elemental and nature spirits. The Sidhe, or Aoshi, the kings and queens of the fairies. Yeah. So again, there's different spiritual hierarchies and ranks, and they may be at different levels of consciousness. They may be the older and more evolved ones. So they're only aliens to us now because we forgot them. Archaeology is a Tuatha De Danaan. Tuatha De Danaan. This is from Elena Danaan. And great wizard of the Sidhe. A wizard, eh? Maybe the purple lightning wizard? Are you sending people to harm me, woman? Or are they doing it on their own? Can't be sure. But yeah, Archaeology. Tuatha De Danaan. But that's not an alien. Not an alien at all. If they're good, yeah, why the deception and play on words saying they're aliens? The Aoshi or Sidhe, the good neighbors, the fair folk, the shining ones, the shining folk, the gentry, the lordly ones, and or the good people. Again, if you're good people, why are you saying you're aliens when you're not? I think it's time for them to speak up and say so and stop messing about, because it really makes people not trust. It makes them not look good. I mean, clearly, I knew by looking at that wasn't an alien. I knew that was a nature being just by looking at it. He does not look alien. They look like us. That's why they say they are us. Or they were like us at one time. It's a play on words. So
I must have done, yeah, look, all the sources. What are fairies? Celtic mythology explained. The Aoshi, Elena Danan's video with this about Archaeology. Her Star Nation News talking about it. Um, they're also called Kate Sith, which was a fairy cat from Final Fantasy VII. There's so many different ones. What's this one? Yeah, I don't believe, like, look, whatever Sith, and those are like, is a female fairy in the Falkland Scottish Highlands. They also share certain characteristics in common with the succubus. They appear as beautiful women who seduce their victims for attacking them and killing them. Yeah, Helen Morris, beautiful red-haired, curly-haired woman. Yeah, it's a fucking fairy. The fae creature known as Lianan Sidhe is the fairy lover. She seeks out artists and poets or writers, and in return for inspiration, she feeds off their life force. These men, in turn, fall madly in love with her, and then when she leaves them, the enchantment is so extreme and intense that the men feel they can't live without her, and they soon waste away and die. Yeah. So I tried my best, and it sucks. Because some, like this video, I think may be removed, but who became before Adam? This is how it talks about the beings, mysteries of pre-human creation. But I don't know if it's there or not. But I did all of this stuff that I talked about today. Look, elements and their inhabitants, the unseen realm, a deep dive on connections. I did all this stuff, but connecting aliens and fairies and fae. Missing 411, I talk about that in my deep dive of this, which is already getting really long. Missing 411 dimensional beings. So this is why I write the descriptions and leave all these sources. But I said they are not aliens. They are only alien to us now in this age because we forgot what they really were. Okay? So I really wanted to go over this again and try one more time to explain all of this. And I'm really, really hoping it's not to harm anybody. It's not even because I would like peace and unity and understanding between our peoples. But we're not going to have that if we have all this shenanigans. I don't think it's funny. I don't think it's cute. And I don't understand why our older siblings are acting like this. Middle children or the eldest children or not. I don't care. I do not understand their behavior. And I don't think they're supposed to be doing this. Okay? I don't feel they're supposed to be doing this. I don't know what to think, actually. But I've shown you both sides there. That they may not be doing it. And they may not want us to associate with what we do, like iron, salt will protect you from these beings and stuff like that. Things like this that actually do, but they don't want us to associate it with that, I don't think. And there might be a reason, there might not, I don't know. It may not be bad, it may be. They may not want us to be like quote unquote racist against them, just like I talked about reptilian racism. Beings trying to make, Elena makes all the Greys and all the reptilians and their earth and fire, so she must be a huge fan of water and air, the elementals. But yeah, she makes a lot of them look sinister and evil. All the reptilians are bad and all that. And this just isn't accurate. So this is why I always talked about what I call like reptilian racism. Or there's other people that call it alienism. But again, it's like associating things with people that you've never even met. And I don't want to do that. But I have to let you know that I have discovered this. And this is very important. Like, a long time ago, I talk about this in my deep dive, but a long time ago, I had a friend, a UFO guy who was a researcher in town, and he didn't understand why I had contact and he did not. And I told him it's because he's not spiritual. He said, well, why does it have anything to do with it? He didn't understand. This is why. Because it's not aliens. Unfortunately, I didn't know that then either. But I did know the answer. I'm not rubbing it in anybody's face. I'm really trying to help here. This is why you've never had contact, fella. Because it's not aliens. So in a way, he's kind of lucky. but at the same time, unlucky because we're not friends anymore, so I can't tell him this. But hopefully, the information will get out there one day. So I really appreciate y'all being here. Um, I appreciate your support and your kindness, and I know this might be different for some people, but the UFO stuff's on the news now. You're going to have to realize that one day, whether you like it or not, this is going to be in your world, in your life, and you won't be able to just walk away or turn the video off. It's a great possibility. And so I really want people to be prepared. You know? We don't need to treat them as enemies that they want to hurt us necessarily. It is very strange that there's lots of people that have these quote unquote alien lovers. But as I read to you down below, I think there's way more to it than that. I'm not trying to disrespect Claudio. He may not be aware. It's okay. Happens to the best of us. They tricked me in the spirit realm pretending to be him. It's fine. Shit happens. But as long as you figure it out and fix it. Yeah. So, I'm tired now, and I'm going to get ready to go out for my walk because it's 6 a.m. and I usually go now before it gets super hot. It's nice and cool still and all that. So, I thank you so much for being here. I will talk to you again soon. I hope and pray with all of my heart that this saves. It's been a very good overview. And I mean, my other videos in 2 parts where I go over a lot of these things. So I have lots of information on these topics on other videos, which are indicated below in this video that I've shown you here about the Aoshi and the Sidhe. But mostly all of my videos, I post sources, links in my playlist. You're going to find one that is on the Unseen Realm. There's a girl that has a story channel where she tells stories rather of people's encounters with fairies. Some of them are good, some of them are not. Some of them they try to become romantic. So if you listen to this stuff, you'll be able to connect it together. And just if you can forget for a moment, try to tell yourself that you're listening to something about aliens, and it'll sound very similar. Alrighty? And this is why. So again, one more time, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. I hope you have a wonderful day. I will talk to you soon. Of course, if you could like, comment, subscribe, and maybe share my content somewhere else, on social media somewhere, on Twitter or on Facebook, whatever like that, it would be unbelievably and gratefully appreciated. Okay, so have a great day. And yeah, I will talk to you soon. Take care. Bye. Bye. So, hi again. I forgot something that I talk about in my other series, all right? And this is important too, because what connects me, Elena, Corey Good, probably Claudio Nocelli, and many others, David Wilcock, all these people like that, okay? Is that normally, because I thought about it and I thought, what is the thing that we all have in common? And what I've come to learn over the years, like Corey Good has expressed, he didn't have a very good life and experience with people. Remember I said he addressed me, oh, human. That was an indication. Because some of these beings do look upon us like that. They look down on us. Hold on. I'm sorry. And like again, they don't like the fact they were replaced. And they do feel superior to us because of the gifts and the abilities that the Divine Creator gave them. But their time has come and gone. And that's why they're in the spiritual realms now. So, like I said, I just don't think that they should be doing this, but I want to focus on the fact that I've had a bad life. I was bullied in school. I've talked about that. Tuatha De Danaan talks about being bullied in school and how she was treated badly. So I need these people, especially if you guys are listening to this, I need you to hear me, not get mad. Don't let your emotions control you and really think about these things. Are you being manipulated because of that? Because of your pain and treatment of humanity? I really had to get over these things. I'm doing this because I care about humans and I care about these peoples. I do. I've had good experiences and not so good experiences with both. And I care about humanity and I care about the other beings in creation. All of them.
And so I'd really like to truly create peace and unity. But we can only have that with truth, honesty, trust, and all of those good things, and a real unconditional love. And when you love someone, you don't manipulate them, especially your siblings. I wouldn't do this to my brothers and sisters, and I would not expect my brothers and sisters to do this to me or anyone else, yeah? But that is a really important factor. That we've all, and a lot of people that are looking for aliens are really sick of human beings. And if you feel that way, it doesn't need to be super negative, but if you're disappointed with humanity and you've had alien contact, and, you know, like there was a lady, I don't mean to single you out, but her YouTube name was Barbara. I know if she hears me, she'll know I'm talking about her, because she told me about this council she has. But then she also told me about how she's drinking and smoking weed and doing all this stuff, and how she doesn't intend to change, and like basically fuck humans. I'm pretty sure it was. And Barbara, I need you to hear me. If you're still around, hun, I really hope you're listening to me. It doesn't mean they probably do care about you. But what they're doing is they're playing on your inner feelings and emotions. And a lot of them, that's their nature. Especially if they're fire beings, they're going to add to that fire. Fuel to the fire. They don't necessarily do it because it's sinister. But I really hoped you listened to my warning. Because there's a lot of people walking around say they represent some kind of council. And you can't all be representing some type of council, no matter how many types of beings there are. There can't be 100 representatives of the Arcturian Council. That would be a bit strange, and they're all saying different things. That might be confusion and deception on purpose, eh? So I don't want to paint all these beings with the same brush, because I'm very aware that not all of them are the same. But even with Elena's contacts, I'm wondering what is up with the alien thing. She must know. And she's willingly lying about it. She's a shaman druid. This is the type of stuff they deal with. So why she's passing off as aliens is almost disgraceful and disrespectful. Maybe this is what she meant when she said, I need to sell books. This is how they sell books with it. It doesn't make it any less real, you guys. It is real, but it isn't what they're telling us it is. And that's an issue. What we do with that, I'm not sure, but I really need to bring this to our urgent awareness. Okay? So that's something definitely to think about for yourself and for these other people. All of them. And they need to think about that too. It's no shame. I'm not trying to shame you. I'm not trying to belittle you. I'm not trying to take anything from you. I'm not trying to harm you. I'm trying to help. The Divine Creator made me this way for a reason. And I literally have tried not to, and I can't help it. The Divine Creator just sends me these intuitive pushes. It sends me these things that I find out, and I'm like, oh, and I make these connections, and I tell you about it. And I truly believe this is why. I was made this way for a reason, so I could do this. Yeah. And it's not to harm anyone. It's to truly balance the scales and make things right. That's what I want. Yeah. And I'm using the sword of truth to do that. So there's no messing around here. That was never my intention. I was literally, honestly, genuinely, authentically searching for the truth. For myself and for everybody else. And, well, this is what I found, y'all. So I really hope that you've enjoyed this. I've tried to condense everything that I've said in like my 2-hour video into this one video. Both of them are good, but I feel like this is one of the most important parts, especially when it comes to my investigative series into what Tuatha De Danaan is really doing, you know? I had this feeling 3 years ago with my purple sweater video, my goofy headphones. And this was it. This is what I was feeling. I figured it out. The question is, why? And we just don't know. So, please put your thoughts, opinions, and feelings below. With respect, of course. Let's try to keep this as positive as possible.
and try to think on positive and negative fronts, okay? Let's just do our best with that. All right? All right. Thank you so much. Pretty sure that's all I wanted to say. And if not, well, then I'm probably going to be making another section. But I really appreciate you being here. Talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
I hope Serena's okay out there.
This is bad. It's getting colder by the minute. Queen Beryl was too strong for them. Luna, our scouts are doomed.
I can't believe we'll never see them again. Sailor Moon, you've just got to believe in yourself. Please, don't let the Negaverse win. Everyone's counting on you.
I hear you, Luna. I am not afraid anymore.
You should be.
Cosmic moon power! Here I'm standing in the night. Fight this evil. My present wand, the only light. Do not give up, Serena. You can do this. But I sense my friends are near. I'll draw from each the power I need. I am not letting you win this one, you witch. My friends are counting on me.
Hey, Serena, I'll help you with this assignment if you want. You are so stubborn, Serena. Let us help or I'll never speak to you again. Yeah, let us help you put her away. Still too many guys we gotta meet. Let us help. We haven't known each other long enough for it to end yet.
I do need all of you. Please, help me.
With all our strength, the battle's won.
The universe is safe again thanks to you, my friends.
With all our love, we can't go wrong.
Finally, we have a chance for peace.
We have the strength to